Okay, let's get one thing straight. It doesn't matter how many details you add to your drawings, how many colors are in there, what your supplies are. If you get this fundamental thing wrong that I'm going to show you in this video, all that makes no difference at all, because your artwork is probably just going to look flat and a bit lifeless. Patreon member Emma sent in a wonderful drawing of a dog for me. We took it from this to this, just with this bit of knowledge I'm going to share with you now, and it's going to save you probably years of trial and error. So let me show you exactly what you should be concentrating on. And all I'm going to do is start to lighten and darken areas. So I can see on the reference photo, you see this jawline? So the light is coming obviously from the front, top left as we are looking at the reference photo. Okay, so it's shining that kind of diagonal look to it. So I'm going to go darker around here. Now obviously in Photoshop this actually alters colors a bit as well, but forget about that. Okay, I'm just showing you the rough technique here. Now on the back here it's quite dark as well, so I'm going to darken that down to the belly. That's all dark also. The shoulder is dark because remember the light's coming this way, so it's casting shadow here. And I like this side lighting. Anybody that's looked at lots of my artwork, you know this is my favorite type of lighting. Now under the chin, onto the chest a little bit, we can see it down here perhaps. One side of the leg and body. A little bit, the girl's probably cast in the shadow here, but let's darken that as well anyway. Okay, so it's looking a little bit more three-dimensional now. Perhaps darken the shadow area down here because that'd be darker, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's turn that off and on. So you see what I mean about this three-dimensional appearance. It's already starting to show us the direction the light is coming on from, and that's what we need to be able to create that three-dimensional form. Okay, so that's it off. You can see in comparison now that looks flatter because we don't really have much in the full range of tonal values. So from perfectly white all the way down to black. Now not every drawing, artwork, subject will have that full range. Okay, keep that in mind. But as you can see here, that makes a big difference all of a sudden, and that's just a few minutes work. It's made a big difference. So let's call that one shadows, and we'll call this layer lights or highlights. Okay, so let's do exactly that. So the tool I use, just for anybody to know, to darken in Photoshop, that's called the burn tool. Now the opposite of that is the dodge tool, and that basically means I can rub it over it and it'll create highlights, it'll lighten areas. Where am I seeing the light coming from? It's hitting the right side of the face, the left as we're looking at it. So over here it's much brighter, top of the head is brighter. Now bear in mind this is just a very rough Photoshop adjustment. I'm not that brilliant with Photoshop anyway, but in the end it'll give you the idea of what's happening. Right, a little bit of light down there, light out there. That may be a bit too bright, but never mind. Lighter there. Okay, so then with the shape of the head we've got a bit of a recess in the middle, and then it starts to go lighter again. Over here that's really bright. Of course you would do this with your pencils, adding a new layer on top and using brighter highlights. Right, we've got a little bit of highlight going there, coming down the forehead, going like that. You see, I think of this as turning the light on the subject. It was, before it looked like the light was very subdued. Bring that part of the nose up, because we can push the effect as well. So as I was saying, it looked like the light was very subdued, and now it's starting to brighten up more. Now don't forget, as the artist, you may want to have some areas a bit brighter. Perhaps you want to enhance, emphasize more some areas. Other areas you may want to darken a little bit more. Okay, so let's turn that off and on. So let's start off, that's how it was. Then I added the darks, Then I added highlights. So do you see what I mean about it turning like a light bulb on? Now I've overcooked it a bit with Photoshop. I said my Photoshop abilities is not brilliant, but that was it before. I've added no extra details or anything like that. I've just given shape and form to the subject. As you saw, tonal value is absolutely the main thing you've got to master. This next video shows you a technique I use to get it right every single time.